In the fourth of 5 straight games away from McMorran Place, the Prowlers face a tough test against the Continental Division leading Columbus River Dragons. Good evening, everyone. My name is Will Wiggleman, here with you at the Columbus Civic Center in Columbus, Georgia. Thanks so much for joining us on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Well, the Prowlers are coming off of a sweep last weekend down in Mississippi against the Seawolves, winning those two games 6-1 and 5-2, but they will face one of the toughest teams in the league here this weekend with a 2-game set against the River Dragons. All that and more coming up on the pregame show here from Columbus. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Columbus, we're just about 10 minutes from puck drop, as you can see on our brand new clock on our scoreboard here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page, and an effort to continue to try and improve the broadcast each and every game. We're going to see if the clock will work for us for the rest of this season, but tonight the Prowlers are trying to put in some work against one of the best teams in the FPHL in the Columbus River Dragons. Port Huron coming off of, as I mentioned, the sweep of Mississippi last weekend down in Biloxi. Last game on Saturday, November 12th, was a 5-2 victory. Just like the first game of that weekend, the Prowlers fell behind and were able to battle back. They were down 1-0 and 2-1 at different points in that game, but a 4-goal explosion in the third period gave the Prowlers the victory. Sam Merritt scored the game winner. That was his first goal of the season, and a lot of relief for him to finally pot number 1 on the year. And Dan Chartrand hit the empty net. That is his first career professional goal. So a couple of firsts down there in Biloxi. Prowlers will look to carry the momentum in Columbus. Well, the River Dragons are coming off of a sweep of the Watertown Wolves right here at Columbus Civic Center. It was their first home weekend of the season, and last game was on Sunday, the 13th. It was a 2-0 River Dragons win. Brandon Colgan had the 30-save shutout. He's not dressing tonight for the River Dragons. It looks to be Bailey McBurney in net. That's who we are predicting will be in there. But he had a 30-save shutout. Adam Vanelli beat the only goal of the game. That was the only goal against a goaltender of that game. He had the game winner. Jay Krupp hit the empty netter. So the Prowlers and the River Dragons getting set to coming up in just a few minutes. Columbus sitting atop the Continental Division standings with 20 points, 7-1-0, their record through 8 games, a plus 27 goal differential. That is the best in the FPHL. They're also on a league-high 5-game winning streak. The Prowlers sitting third in the Continental Division with a record of 5-3-2, 17 points through 10 games. They're on a 2-game winning streak. And they will have a new face in the lineup tonight when they go against Columbus. Liam Freeborn has joined the team for this road trip, coming off of a season at Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. Freeborn, the 23-year-old from Calgary, Alberta, had 10 points in 11 games last year at SAIT. Well, a big milestone tonight in Columbus as Prowlers head coach and general manager Matt Graham will be playing in his 300th career FPHL game. 264 assists, 383 points over that career for Matt Graham. He's also the Prowlers franchise leader in assists with 200 22. So he'll look to lead his team to a victory. There's a great article up on the Prowlers website, phprowlers.com, if you have not gotten a chance to read it yet. I sat down with Graham and talked about his career and everything up to this point and things he might be looking forward to in the future. So check that out, phprowlers.com for that. Let's take a look at the lineup. Well, what we're projecting to be the lineup tonight for Port Huron. Freeborn is going to be a starter in his very first game for the Prowlers. He'll be up front along with Sam Merritt and Vinny DeCumbus. That was Dan Chartrand's spot last weekend. Chartrand slots in as the extra forward. The other two lines stay the same. Scantleberry, Graham, and Jay. Vartiainen, Foley, and Devaney. Now the defense pairs are a little bit different. Johnson and Henning staying together, but Gino Mini has made the trip, so the Prowlers now with 6 defensemen, a luxury they did not have last week. They will pair Gino Mini with Brian Parsons, Adam Hainsel, and Austin Federley, the other defense pair. In goal tonight, as he was both games last weekend, Wyatt Hofflin. He was fantastic for the Prowlers last weekend, and he'll look to continue to carry his team here against Columbus. Both teams getting set to hit the ice in just a minute, and we'll take you downstairs when they do. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
And they're announcing the Prowlers starters. We'll take you down to ice level for the rest of the pregame festivities. Ceremonial puck drop upcoming here from Columbus. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page as the Prowlers visit the Columbus River Dragons. If you're just joining us, River Dragons leading the Continental Division with a record of 7-1-0, their best start in franchise history, while the Prowlers sitting third with a 5-3-2 record, 17 points for Port Huron so far this season. Let's take a look at the goaltending matchup for tonight. Just as it was for both games last weekend for the Prowlers, Wyatt Hofflin in the net to our right, wearing the Prowlers white road jersey, 2-0 with a 1.5 goals against average and a .950 save percentage. Picked up his first 2 professional wins against the Mississippi Seawolves a week ago. Bailey McBurney in the other net for tonight's game for the Columbus River Dragons. The 2021-22 FPHL Goaltender of the Year, led the league in goals against average and save percentage last season. He comes in with a 4-1 record with a .261 goals against average and a .914 save percentage. We're underway here from Columbus. Thanks so much for joining us on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Decumbis works into the zone, tried to feed the front. Freeborn had it chopped away from him by Paul Freggio, number 7. And if you're just joining us, Liam Freeborn, as that puck is iced by Columbus. Liam Freeborn wearing number 18 for the Prowlers. He's on the right wing right now with Vinny Decumbis and Sam Merritt. And he is the new face for Port Huron. Face off one back. Johnson tried a wrist shot, didn't work. Played into the corner. Taken around the net by Freggio. Moved up to Jay Krupp. He dumps it in. Hofflin tried to play it, turned it over. Hofflin back in his goal crease before the River Dragons get a shot off. Now Vanelli takes one. That one deflected high over the net. Wickline on it, taken away by Freeborn. He took a check. Now the River Dragons take the puck. Freggio all the way this side to Petrantonio, passes behind him, and Decumbis turns up the other way. Here's Freeborn, 3 River Dragons back, gives to Merritt. His shot hits the dasher over on the far corner. Prowlers trying to establish a forecheck. Freggio lost the puck in the referee's skates, so Port Huron able to keep the pressure. Now Freggio slowing things down and backing up. 2018 Commissioner's Cup champ with Watertown with Paul Freggio. He was in Columbus last year. Deflected in by Austin Day, the former Prowler. Jay played it in his feet. Now moving up with speed, here comes Dalton Jay. Up ice, gets through a couple River Dragons, and McBurney with the save, robbing Dalton Jay of what looked like a highlight reel goal. Tucker Scantleberry involved in some pushing and shoving in front. So already a little bit of nastiness between these two teams. 18:15 to go in the first period. We're trying out a new clock here on the Prowlers YouTube page. It won't be exactly accurate, but it should give you a good idea of how much time is left. Petrantonio moved it up to Underwood. Taken away at center by Graham. We also want to thank the staff here, as here's Jay trying to dangle in. Rogers took it away. Rogers puts it back to the far side to Underwood. That puck over the glass and out of play. As I was saying, we want to give a big thanks to the production staff here with the Columbus River Dragons for giving us the use of their camera for tonight's game. So a big shout out to them. Face-off coming to McBurney's left with 17:44 to go in period one. Vartiainen takes it off the draw, feeds the point. Quick shot by Minnie. Gino Minnie back in the lineup. That was deflected wide. Devaney in the corner. Works it towards Vartiainen. Now comes out Minnie, played it off the boards. Devaney tries to turn the other way and puts it into the zone. Greco off the glass and past Hainsel. And it will have enough gas for icing, second icing against the River Dragons early in this game. No score, 17:14 to go in the first period. Shots on goal right now, 1-0 in favor of Port Huron. Foley kicks the puck back. Here's Minnie walking the line, takes the shot, found the glass, bounced back in front. McBurney was alert. Dragons coming out. Pass over to Greco, eluded him. He backhands it deep on Hofflin. Vartiainen gets past his man. Devaney picks up the loose puck at center. 3-on-2 for the Prowlers. Devaney makes a move to get by and ends up behind the net. His pass back to the point, split the defense, and comes all the way back to Hofflin. Lofton pass to Vartiainen, wasn't handled cleanly, and then that pass up to Krupp, just out of his reach. And Johnson chops it back to River Dragon ice. 16:25 to go in the first period. Hofflin around towards Henning. He gets there with Jelenskis, and now comes back to the point, Vanelli. Johnson took it off Wickline's stick. Backhands it out only as far as the line. River Dragons have a 2-on-1. Here's Krupp, tried to feed it back over, and Johnson lifted Wickline's stick at the last second. Krupp in the slot to the backhand. That one off a stick and wide. Jay Krupp still with it. Back to the point. Vanelli high on Hofflin, popped up in the air. Johnson trying to get down to block it, and they score. Frejo came all the way in from the point to clean up the rebound. And the River Dragons on the board first. It's 1-0. It was the shot from the point that Hofflin got a piece of. It hopped up in the air. He couldn't find it. Johnson tried his best to get down to keep the puck away from any River Dragons, but Frejo in from the point, able to get there first. Columbus first on the board with 15:46 to go in the first period. For Frejo, his second goal of the season. Dragons moving through center. Underwood this side to Petrantonio. Back to Underwood. Hofflin got down to stop it, and they score. The rebound popped all the way out to the point to Edgar's Ozelinch, and just like that, the Dragons have a 2-0 lead. Hofflin had no idea where that puck was after he made the original save, facing the wrong direction. And the River Dragons have taken advantage of a little bit of confusion in the Prowlers zone to take an early 2-0 lead. Ozelinch picking up his first goal of the season. Greco put it on. Hofflin made sure it went behind the net, and here's Austin Federley. Moving up ice, gets the red, gets it deep. Jay let it go through him. Comes back to Federley at the point. His shot blocked. Trying to spring the other way is Day, but Parsons gets to that loose puck first, and he's behind his own cage. 14:45 to go in the opening period. Prowlers already trailing by a pair. Collision at center ice involving Graham. Graham taking some pushing and shoving. Now it's a fight in front of the bench. It's Matt Graham squaring off with Josh LaBelle, but they're quickly separated before that one could turn into any real fisticuffs. And the fans here at Columbus Civic Center unhappy with the referee's decision. And we'll see what the penalties become in just a couple of minutes, as the referee's going to discuss things. And we'll take a look at a couple of former Lawrence University Vikings, Vinny DeCumbus and Lane King. King, a River Dragon, and DeCumbus now a Prowler. They didn't play at the same time. King from 2015-16 to the 17-18 season, and DeCumbus played the 4 years after that. But a couple of former Vikings, part of these two teams, doing battle here at the Columbus Civic Center. Both penalty box doors are open, but looks like no penalties, as we have 5-on-5, and I don't see anybody in either penalty box. 14:29 to go in the first period. Face off one back. Hainsel collects it in his own corner. Now behind the net, Hainsel knocked down. River Dragons trying to collect again. Storjahan fed it back to the point. Greco, D over. Shot came in from Day, missed it wide. Whistles blow as that puck hit the glass. And now Minnie getting involved with Storjahan in the high slot of the Prowlers' end. They'll both head to the box. Let them fight chants coming from the Columbus faithful. Looks like penalties going both ways, and we'll see what the result is as far as on-ice manpower. Prowlers have 5 out there. River Dragons only have 4. Shots 4-1 in the early going for Columbus, a 2-0 River Dragons lead. And now they're putting up Storjahan's penalty on the penalty clock here. So Prowler's power play seems to be what is coming up. And they'll send out the man advantage unit. It's going to be the Graham unit. He's out there with Scantleberry, DeCumbus, Johnson, and Jay. While Vinelli, Wickline, Frageau, and it looks like Ryan Gill to take the face-off. Those are the 4 killers for Columbus. And the first Prowlers power play of the game. DeCumbus tried to put it on net quickly, and it's cleared behind the cage. Scantleberry curling away in the corner. Back to the point, here's Jay. Middle point, Johnson, now DeCumbus. All the way back to Johnson, wrist shot blocked, comes right back to him. DeCumbus in the slot, Scantleberry's shot, gloved and held by McBurney. He didn't get all of it. Prowlers power play coming in 3rd in the FPHO right now at 23.5%. They have 1:35 to go on this man advantage. Petrantonio wins that draw away from Graham. But Jay, good puck retrieval in the corner. Scantleberry tried to sweep it in front. It was blocked off. Johnson off the side of the cage. Comes over to the near side corner. DeCumbus fed it over towards Graham. Now Johnson. 2 River Dragons on him. Frejo trying to take the puck. Alex Johnson has it again. Behind the net to Graham in front. Save, rebound. McBurney has that too, and he'll hold on. And now a little pushing and shoving in front. .104 to go on the Prowlers power play. 13:05 to go in period 1. Devaney wins it back. Vartiainen, one touch, got it back. Down low to Foley. Goes back to Vartiainen at the point. He's battling, just trying to keep that puck in front of him, and now he goes back to his own territory. 45 seconds left on the man advantage. Here's Federley up ice. Dropped off to Vartiainen. Dancing his way through center over the River Dragons line. Vartiainen shielding the puck. Gives to Devaney on the near side boards. Devaney walks down the wall to Merritt. Back to Devaney. 20 seconds left on the men advantage. Here's Vartiainen. Rising shot found the glass. Devaney hassled by Kelly. Now Federley all the way across towards Vartiainen. He just gets it deep. Merritt, as the final seconds ticking off this power play for the Prowlers, turned it over, and the River Dragons get it deep. Prowlers over 1 on the man advantage. Comes up to Foley. Poked off his stick. Now Jelenskis towards Wickline. One touch drop pass to Krupp. That didn't work. Now Devaney the other way. 4 River Dragons back. Joe Devaney turns away from pressure. Puts it on. Saved by McBurney. Wickline blew a tire, but gets up, gets the puck. Goes off the boards. That hit the linesman. Devaney able to turn it back the other way. 11:30 to go in period 1. Greco moved it up. Trying to cut to the net is Jelenskis. Good poke by Johnson to put that behind the cage. River Dragons keeping the pressure on. Here's Wickline turning away from Johnson. Back to the point. Comes back to Wickline again in the corner. Hit by Johnson. Alex Johnson takes the puck. Moving up towards Jay. That pass eludes him. McBurney out to play it. Icing waved off. LaBelle fed it over. Now it's moved to the near side to Krupp. Jay finds the loose puck on the half wall. Put a shot wide. That took a funny hop off the boards. And puck comes back out to center. 10:35 to go in period 1. Shots on goal, 5-4 in favor of the Prowlers. But the goals are 2-0 for Columbus. Those 2 goals coming in matter of very short time. Just 24 seconds between River Dragons goals. Hofflin backhands it towards Freeborn. Then Merritt one touches it up to Scantleberry. Tucker Scantleberry with a nice move. Puck's in his skates. He finds his way behind the net. Sidesteps a hit behind the cage, and now McBurney covers up that one, and Merritt was dumped right next to the net after the whistle. We'll take a timeout. 9:58 to go in the first period. Prowlers trail by a pair. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Columbus, 9:58 to go in the first. Prowlers find themselves behind already by a pair of goals, 2-0 the score, with early goals from Paul Fregeau and Edgars Ozelinch. So the River Dragons defense getting the offense going here early in the frame. Face-off coming to McBurney's left. Merritt to take it against Underwood. Merritt wins the draw back. Tecumseh recovers the puck behind the net. Comes into the slot. Freeborn's shot. And McBurney got a toe on it. Liam Freeborn looking for his first goal in his first game as a Prowler. Vanelli over to Fregeau. Up towards Day. Turned over at center to Cumbus. Near side, here's Hainzel. Gets it in, takes a hit, but Vanelli looked like he got the brunt of that one. Petrantonio the other way, trying to start a 3-on-2 rush. Petrantonio fed it in front. Hofflin takes it wide, and then Hainzel took Petrantonio in behind the net. Meanwhile, puck into the River Dragons zone. Fregeau up towards Petrantonio. Day into the zone. To Petrantonio, the one-timer. Went wide, and the rebound. They score! Another bad hop for the Port Huron Prowlers. And it's a 3-0 Columbus River Dragons lead. Boy, you talk about some unfortunate bounces. That's what the Prowlers have been dealing with, and this time it's Josh Petrantonio taking advantage, scoring his first goal of the season in just his 5th game of the year. Oh, the River Dragons are 4-0 when he is in the lineup. Johnson thought he kept it at the line, but referees disagreed, and the Prowlers are offsides. 8:50 to go in the first period. Prowlers already in a hole, 3-0. Puck comes in on Hofflin. Henning battled for it behind the net, comes to the point. Quick shot on. Hofflin with a good save to stop Cody Rogers. Rogers took it from Vartiainen at center. Storjahan lost it. Vartiainen got it back to center. Flipped high and in. Johnson has Rogers chasing him down. Leaves it for Henning. Now up towards Vartiainen. Shot back around towards Hofflin. Here's Larry Vartiainen. Passing Devaney's skates. He stops up. His pass towards Henning too far ahead, so Greco able to get it the other way. Krupp got it down with his hand, but unable to get it to his stick. Finally, it's dumped in by Columbus. Dustin Henning behind the Prowlers' cage. 7:45 to go in the opening frame. Puck comes over towards Parsons. Too far ahead of him, but he's able to chop it in Jay's direction. 3-on-2 for the Prowlers. Jay dropped to Scantleberry, takes the shot, missed it wide. Jay tried to put it back out in front. McBurney is on top of it, and he covers up for a whistle with 7:27 to go in the first period. Well, you talk about a tough start for the Prowlers, but it's rushes like that that might be able to turn things around against a very tough goaltender in Bailey McBurney. Graham and Wickline set to draw in the offensive zone for the Prowlers. Comes back to Federley. He plays it deep. Funny hop off the boards. Scantleberry tried to put it in front, but McBurney had the glove on top of that. So we'll have another face-off in the offensive zone for the Prowlers, with Matt Graham playing in his 300th career FPHL game, drawing this time with Kirk Underwood. Tied up, Frageot leaves it off to Vanelli. Here's Underwood, quickly into the Prowlers zone. Power move to the net, he was knocked down, ran into Hofflin. Arm is up from the referee, and Wyatt Hofflin is down in his crease. Now Hofflin still down in his net, slowly getting back to his feet. 7:07 to go in the first period, and now the Columbus training staff comes out to tend to Wyatt Hofflin. Danik Rodrigue is the backup tonight for Port Huron, should it come to that. Well, it's been a tough first period for Hofflin after a fantastic 2 games in Mississippi last weekend. Just some bad bounces, some bad luck for him and the Prowlers early in this first frame. It looks like the Prowlers will go to a power play as Underwood's number up on the big board. But some tough bounces that the River Dragons were able to take advantage of, and it looks like Hofflin will stay in the game. Prowlers to their second power play of the contest, looking for their first power play goal. And a way to change momentum, they'll send out the Foley unit. Lining up 2 McBurneys left. The second man advantage for the Prowlers. The River Dragons have the top PK in the league at 92.5% coming into this one, and they're already 1 for 1, and they send it down early on. Hofflin drops off for Federley. He turns up the other way. Federley looks all the way across to Vartiainen, and now Foley down low. Vartiainen put it on net. Merritt collects the rebound, tried to feed it back in front, but that was cut off by Day. Austin Day gets it all the way down to Hofflin. 6.5 to go in the first period. 1:21 left on the Prowlers' man advantage. Here's Devaney into the zone. Poked off his stick, he recollects. Comes all the way back out to the point to Federley. Wrist shot, saved by McBurney. The rebound, poked towards Foley at the back post, but he wasn't able to get a stick on it. Foley into Merritt, deflected it wide. Gill tries to move it up. Federley kept it in. Now Devaney. Down to Foley. The one-touch pass to Merritt was cut off and sent all the way back down with 5:50 to go in the first period. 41 seconds left on the Prowlers' power play. Pass into Scantlebury. He dove for it and slides into McBurney as he hangs on to the puck. Looked like Tucker Scantlebury may have been held up a little bit there, but 5:42 to go in the first period. It's still a 5-on-4 for the Prowlers. Storjahan and Scantlebury to draw. This is quite possibly the first face-off that Tucker Scantlebury has taken. I can't recall him taking one at all this season. That one goes off the glass. Took a funny hop off the glass, and Tecumseh was able to keep it in. Graham trying to force it in front. Tecumseh picked off that pass to Jay in the slot. Wrist shot, found the glass high. Dalton Jay stops up on the wall, feeds down low to Graham. Right back to Jay, but his pass back to Matt Graham was cut off and cleared by Ozelinch. Final seconds ticking off of the Prowlers' power play. Storjahan blocked that one at center. He's in on a breakaway. Saved by Hofflin, and then the rebound goes off the post. Scantlebury back in. He takes a hard hit. Graham with the puck. Pulls up in the corner. Feeds it out to Minnie. Couldn't handle the hot pass. Graham in front. Comes back to the point. Johnson winds and fires. That one blocked. Where is it? Whistles blow. And it looks like it's in Underwood's equipment. And we'll take a timeout with 4:39 to go in the first period in the Prowlers with in a 3-0 hole. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
.439 to go in the first period. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Prowlers trailing already in Columbus by a score of 3-0. Prowlers also 0 for 2 on the power play so far tonight, as they draw to McBurney's right. Tecumseh off the wall to Hainsel. All the way back around, Freeborn takes it behind the net. Pushed off by LaBelle. Liam Freeborn double teamed behind the cage by River Dragons. LaBelle takes the puck out of the scrum. Comes up to Krupp, one hands it to center. And now Minnie only gets it as far as Greco. Krupp drop back to LaBelle. Gets it right back to Jay Krupp. He curls away, back to the point. Greco's shot. That hit his own man in front, little friendly fire. That was Jelenskis going to the cage. Now Minnie takes it away in the corner, gets it up to Freeborn. Now it's Tecumseh, 1-on-2. He'll just wrist it in on McBurney, who covers up with 3:50 to go in the period. Prowlers setting out the Foley line. The River Dragons will counter with the Underwood line. Again, 3:50 to go in the first period. We're having some difficulties with our clock here that we're trying to implement into our broadcast. We'll see how long that lasts as that puck highly flipped into the corner. Petrantonio tried the center. That didn't work. Johnson trying to fight off Josh Petrantonio. Instead, it's turned over. Here's Underwood with a shot saved by Hofflin. Rebound comes to Devaney. He goes off the boards. Johnson couldn't pick it up. Now Henning. Taken in by Day. Foley comes in to help. Devaney off the boards and out. Joe Devaney surrounded. Gets it to Vartiainen. He couldn't pull the trigger. Now it's poked back out to center. Here's Johnson. Backhands it in. Frejo moves it up to Storjahan. He gets past a couple of Prowlers, gets the puck back. Storjahan a turnaround shot, missed it wide. Storjahan waiting on the back post, but Rogers couldn't get it to him. Puck comes all the way to the left wing side. Here's Federley. Gets the red, gets it deep. McBurney off his stick. Now Scantlebury takes King in. Lane King still with the puck. Up to Storjahan. And now moving the other way are the River Dragons. Here's Kelly. Gets it back from Storjahan to the point to Rogers. Feeds it over. Quick shot. Kick save by Hoplin. The rebound. They score. It's Kelly picking up the loose change, and it's a 4-0 River Dragons lead with 2:07 to go in the first period. Jacob Kelly, who began his pro career last year in Germany's 4th division, now has his 4th goal of the season. And he makes it a 4-0 River Dragons lead with 2:07 to go in the first period. Prowlers will have a lot of work to do after this 2 minutes expires off the clock. We'll see if they can get one back before the period expires. Freeborn curls away from pressure. Greco rims it around. Hainsel gets it deep. Penalty coming against the River Dragons. And it looks like Mike Greco, the one headed to the box, and the Prowlers will head to their third power play of the season. Of the game, excuse me. Seemed like only a matter of time before Michael Greco headed to the penalty box. He's second in the FPHL in penalty minutes with 54 already this season. This is game number 9 for him in penalty minutes 55 and 56. Foley and Petrantonio set to draw. Comes to Federley at the point. Curls back towards the boards. Devaney gets it down low. Foley tried to find Merritt streaking towards the blue paint. Instead, it was cut off. Here's Petrantonio one-on-one with Federley. Austin Federley pokes it off his stick, but it's picked back up by the River Dragons. LaBelle heads back into his own end. And finally, River Dragons get it deep. Minute 10 to go in the first period. Federley drops to Vartiainen. Now Merritt. Tried to put it deep, but it goes off the glass and back all the way down. Federley around the net. Graham one-touched it to Devaney. Off the boards, back to Matt Graham. Now comes to Devaney. To the point, Tecumseh fresh off the bench. Devaney, it's Graham. 34 seconds left in the period. Johnson, now Merritt. Tried to feed it in front. That one skittered past Graham. It was deflected off a Columbus skate. Johnson to Jay right off the bench. 22 seconds left in the period. Tecumseh put it back on net, and McBurney has that one too. River Dragons clear. Played back in, but Vanelli able to get it right back out. Johnson poked off his stick. Here's Storjahan with 3. He shoots, and he scores! Alex Storjahan beats the buzzer. Exactly 1 second on the clock, and it's a 5-0 Columbus lead. A shorthanded goal for Alex Storjahan. So everything that can go wrong did for the Port Huron Prowlers in this period. And they head into the locker room with a 5-0 deficit to make up over the next 40 minutes of play. A dejected Prowlers team heading to the visiting dressing room through 1 period of play. Shots on goal 15-11 in favor of Port Huron, but Bailey McBurney stopped all 15. And the River Dragons put up 5 on the other end, and that's the difference so far in this one. We'll get your holiday shopping started early at the Port Huron Prowlers team store. Located on the west end of McMorran Arena. The store is open every home game all season long, featuring t-shirts, sweatshirts, koozies, brand new sock styles, and more. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. Through 1 period of play here and at the Columbus Civic Center, it's the Prowlers trailing the River Dragons 5-0. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. back here at Columbus Civic Center. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Before we take a look back at that first period, let's take you around the FPHL. Only 3 other games in action tonight. The Watertown Wolves and Elmira Mammoth game was postponed due to weather that was accumulating in upstate New York. They're supposed to get a ton of snow, so that game has been postponed. But in Motor City, the Rockers and Hat Tricks are getting set to start the second period, scoreless at Big Boy Arena. Down in Delaware, the Binghamton Black Bears hold a 2-0 lead on the Thunder as they play early on in the middle frame. And through one period of play, the Carolina Thunderbirds have a 1-0 lead on the Mississippi Seawolves. And of course here in Columbus, it's the Port Huron Prowlers trailing the Columbus River Dragons by a 5-0 score. Well, you can talk about luck for those first 3 goals for Columbus. Paul Frageau and Edgars Ozelinch taking advantage of some just really unfortunate bounces that went the Columbus River Dragons' way. They both scored 24 seconds apart early in the period to make it 2-0. And Josh Petrantonio took advantage of yet another bounce, another favorable Columbus bounce to make it 3-0 past the midway point. Jacob Kelly scored once again on a rebound. That one less of an unfortunate bounce and more of just a rebound goal for him. That made it 4-0 Columbus. And then Alex Storjahan took a loose puck at center ice, moved up, and beat the buzzer with 1 second left on the clock. He beat Wyatt Hofflin, and he made it a 5-0 game for the River Dragons. Shots on goal in that first period favored Port Huron 15-12, but Bailey McBurney has made a few great saves, and he's kept the Port Huron Prowlers scoreless through 20 minutes of play. Wyatt Hofflin, 7 saves on 12 shots against in that first period. Well, the Prowlers are going to have to look for something. They're going to have to pull a big comeback out of their hats if they want to get back in this game. Second period comes your way in just a few minutes. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Both teams taking the ice here at Columbus Civic Center for the second period action between the Prowlers and the River Dragons. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Well, the Prowlers have a lot of work to do, and it looks like Danik Rodrigue will head into the visitors' net over to our left for the second period of play. Wyatt Hoplin's night is done after 7 saves on 12 shots. Rodrigue is 2-2-1 this season with a 3.6 goals against average and an .899 save percentage. He played very well in the first couple of weeks of the season. Hasn't seen action in a few weeks. Hasn't played since the overtime loss to the Carolina Thunderbirds back in on October 22nd. So we get set for second period action. 20 minutes up on the clock. And it looks like a little bit of line juggling. Oh, no, no line juggling. Excuse me, this is still a Prowlers power play for the next 21 seconds. It was a perfect period by no stretch, though, for Columbus, despite the score. They were outshot by the Prowlers. Also took 4 penalties. This is the Prowlers' 4th chance on the man advantage. Here's Jay. Knocked off his stick by LaBelle. Comes back to the point, Johnson. Final seconds ticking off the power play. Alex Johnson at the point. Whiffed on it. Keeps it away from Kelly. Now down low to Graham Scantleberry. Swung and missed. And now 3-on-1 going the other way. Here's Greco to Kelly. And that one went all the way through. Storjahan turns it over. Greco backdoor to Kelly. And a great save by Danik Rodrigue, getting the pad to Stone and Kelly on the doorstep. Graham the other way, takes the shot. That one stopped by McBurney. Worked back in front. Cleared away by LaBelle. Kelly. Tried to feed Storjahan in the slot. Instead, Prowlers able to turn it back up. Here's Scantleberry in, has Federley with him. Takes the shot. McBurney the save. Puck goes out of play with 18:53 to go in the second period. So a tough first save for Danik Rodrigue, but he was up to the challenge, stoning Jacob Kelly on the doorstep. Kelly looking for his second goal of the night. Foley line out there for the Prowlers. Devaney keeps it deep. Foley with it behind the net. Centered, but only found Underwood. 3-on-2 the other way. Here's Day. Takes a shot. Saved by Rodrigue. Kept deep by Columbus. Parsons takes it behind the net. Only got it as far as Rogers at the point. That shot deflected wide. And now Devaney into the zone. Couldn't get that one on net. Whipped it back in Vartiainen's direction. And now Columbus able to move back the other way. Here's Day. Off the boards by the Prowlers bench. Foley gets it deep. Comes to Minnie at center. And now work to the far side. Freeborn, fresh off the bench, almost stole that puck. Instead, Parsons able to dump it in. 17:42 to go in the second period. Rodrigue plays it around the boards. Here's DeCumbus. Out of Freeborn's reach. Frageau collects in his own end. DeCumbus off the boards forward. Vanelli. T to D to Frageau. He goes back to the right wing side to Krupp. One touch back to Vanelli. His pass deflected to the corner. DeCumbus took a stick up high. Frageau up to Krupp. Hainsel back. Jay Krupp poked off his stick by Adam Hainsel. Wickline takes the puck. Pops out in front. Prowlers able to clear out of danger. Freeborn almost took that puck away. Could have had himself a breakaway, but Frageot kept it in front of him for just long enough. And now Mini recollects in his own end. 16:39 to go in the second period. Vanelli around the boards towards Jay. Put it in front. That was deflected on to McBurney. He made the stop. Krupp kicked up to the stick by Gill. All alone as the River Dragons are making a full change. Taken into the wall by Hainzel. Storjahan to the point. That was in Greco's feet. Greco knocked down Scantlebury. Storjahan tried to make a play towards the net. Has it back. His feed out of the reach of his intended target. Now Henning starting a 3-on-2 rush. Dustin Henning drops it off. Jay a shot. Saved by McBurney. And he'll hold on with 15:56 to go in the second period. Good rush there, started by Dustin Henning for Port Huron, but McBurney able to eat up that shot from Jay and keep the Prowlers off the board. Storjahan and Foley to draw. Puck tied up there. Storjahan goes up the boards towards King. Now behind the net, here's LaBelle. LaBelle directing traffic in absolutely no hurry. Puck sauced to the near side. Kelly coming back for it. LaBelle all the way up to King at the red line. Finds Kelly streaking in on the right wing side. Kelly tried to dance around Johnson. Alex Johnson had the puck the whole way. Foley gets into the offensive zone. Takes a look, takes the shot. That goes wide. Devaney recovers in the left wing half wall. Reverse to Foley. Finds Vartiainen, but swung and missed at that pass. Parsons with plenty of time in his own end. Both teams making changes. Devaney finds Merritt fresh off the bench. Backhander saved by McBurney. And he'll hold on. 14:45 to go in the second period, and we'll take a timeout in a 5-0 game. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here in Columbus, Prowlers still up on shots, 20-15 for the game, 5-3 early on in the period, but trail it 5-0. If you're just joining us for the second period and haven't seen any of the middle frame action yet, Danik Rodrigue is now in the crease for the Prowlers. The faceoff coming to Bailey McBurney's left. Sam Merritt set to draw with Kyle Underwood, or Kirk Underwood, excuse me. Underwood wins the puck back, and Rogers with speed moved it up. Parsons tried to put it back. Merritt able to one-hand it deep. Rogers pulls up behind his own net. Two-side scrum in the corner. Worked up towards Day. All the way over to the far side, Petrantonio. Pass up to Underwood. Rodrigue got the stick on that chance. To the point, Ozelinch put it on with lots of traffic. I don't know if that got all the way through to Rodrigue, but Petrantonio found it in the corner. Day comes out in front, feeds Ozelinch. Saved by Rodrigue, sliding across. Puck rolling, but it will be on net, so no icing. And Freeborn there to make sure that McBurney covers up with 13:46 to go in the second period. Couple of good saves from Danik Rodrigue over in the defensive end. And we'll see if that gives the Prowlers a little bit of momentum with an offensive zone faceoff and a big deficit. Graham line out. He faces off against Wickline. Minnie sent it around towards Jay. Scantleberry tried to feed it to Graham. Minnie put it back on, and McBurney down to steer that one aside. All the way back to Minnie in the Prowlers' end. Long lead pass up to Jay. Put it on, and McBurney made the save. Hansel a drive. That caught the glass. And comes all the way back out to center again. Graham into the zone. Couldn't feed it in front. Jay chasing down the loose puck. Pushes off Wickline, but Jelenskis has the biscuit. Moved up to Krupp. Krupp all the way around towards Jelenskis. Put it on. Rodrigue makes the save and then pokes it towards Minnie. Gino Minnie able to start up ice. Scantleberry gets it deep. And Fregeau first on it for the River Dragons. 12:40 to go in the second period. Fregeau in no hurry as teammates curling, and he'll send it to Wickline. Wickline ran into Devaney. Joe Devaney moves up the other way. Drop to Vartiainen, takes the shot. McBurney the save, and the rebound to the corner. Johnson couldn't keep it in at the point. Gets to Henning, and he played it off the linesman in deep. Krupp over to Storjahan. Nice toe drag, but his stick was lifted before he could get a shot away. To the point, Fregeau lost the handle, and now Vartiainen up the other way. Near the end of a shift, gets to Foley. Foley couldn't feed that bouncing puck in front. Now he's centered, but only found Storjahan. Johnson shot from the point. McBurney has it in the glove, and he'll hold on with 11:41 to go in the second period. Prowlers pressing, getting some shots on goal, getting some opportunities, but Bailey McBurney up to the task each time he's been asked. Face-off one towards LaBelle at the corner. Merritt trying to steal the puck, gets it to the point to Federley. Wrist shot. That one blocked. And Parsons turns around and gets it deep. Michael Greco behind his own cage. Waits for Storjahan to curl and gives it. Alex Storjahan across the red line, across the Prowlers blue slowly. And Federley recovers that loose puck. Parsons meandering up ice. Steps past LaBelle. Linesman went down. Kelly, long pass out. He finds King. King tied up with Federley. And now DeCumbus gets past his man. 2-on-2 rush has Freeborn with him. Freeborn with Federley going to the net. Gets it there. And Federley backhanded that one wide. Crowd reacting to a big hit on Vinny DeCumbus in the corner. River Dragons tried to come up on an odd man rush of their own, but it was cut off by Parsons. Federley one-hands it deep and heads off for a change. LaBelle skates around the net. Now comes to the near side. Here's Storjahan. 10:20 to go in the second period. Quick shot off of Rodrigue's stick. Petrantonio gets it back to the point. Ozelinch. Wrist shot goes wide. Not sure if Rodrigue got a piece of that one. And Scantleberry tried to move it up. That was cut off by Rogers. And Rogers did all he could just to make sure that one got into the Prowler zone. He was being hassled by Matt Graham at center. Taken away by the River Dragons. It's Krupp. Minnie in a battle there. Worked back to the point. Rogers the wrist shot. That one hits Scantleberry and heads out of play with 9:35 to go in the second period. We'll take a timeout with the Prowlers trailing by 5. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
5-0 our score from the Columbus Civic Center with 9:35 to go in the second period between the Prowlers and the Columbus River Dragons. A tough start for Port Huron in the first period. No goals yet for either side here in the second. Wyatt Hoffland was yanked after the first period, and Danik Rodrigue has made all 5 saves he's had to make here in the middle frame. They get set to draw to his left. Underwood and Graham set to do it. And it comes over to Minnie. Speeds around his own net. Deflected forward. Here's Scantleberry. Taken off his stick. Worked back towards Day. Over to the far side. Vanelli. That one came on net. And steered aside by Rodrigue. Jay slows things down at center. Tried to find Graham heading towards the net. That didn't work. Pops back out to Minnie. D Hainsel. Gino Minnie gets it back. Up the boards right to a waiting Day. And here's Krupp into the zone with speed. Takes the shot, saved by Rodrigue. And Jay just backhands it out. Now Dalton Jay off the turnover. Drops it to Graham. Tried to feed it over towards Scantleberry. That pass was behind him. Tucker Scantleberry able to recover. Up the boards towards Henning. That hopped over his stick. Dustin Henning under pressure. Able to move forward. Now here he is into the zone. Fake the shot. Now put it on. Comes all the way to Foley. Put it back on net. And LaBelle cleared away the rebound. Johnson gloves it down at center. And gives over to Evan Foley. Back to Johnson. Henning deflects it deep. 8:08 to go in the second period. LaBelle collects behind his own cage. Vartiainen watches him from just outside of Bailey McBurney's crease. River Dragons in no rush to get anything moving. Now Vartiainen trying to get LaBelle to do something. River Dragons wasted nearly 20 seconds back there, maybe more, as Parsons goes and finds it in his own end. Federley backhanded it up the boards. Vartiainen put it on further towards Foley. 2-on-2 rush coming up. Delayed penalty against Columbus. Parsons backhands it behind the net. 6-on-5 for the Prowlers on the delayed call. Devaney takes the shot, deflected, save, rebound. It's there in the crease, but Merritt couldn't stab it home, and now we'll get the call. $7:11 to go in the second period, and the Prowlers headed to their 5th power play of the game. And heading to the box is Ryan Gill, 24-year-old out of Grand Canyon University. Also won an SJHL championship with the Battleford's North Stars back in 2019. Scantleberry curls away from Ozelinch in the corner. One of 2 Latvians on this River Dragons team, Edgars Ozelinch. Jelenskis the other. Jay took a tumble. Graham took the puck. And another penalty coming against Columbus. Rodrigue heads to the bench. Johnson gives to Scantlebury, takes the shot. That one deflected and touched up. And we'll get the call with 6:42 to go in the second period. Tripping penalty on Alex Storjahan. A 5-on-3 opportunity for the Prowlers. A minute 32 to go on their man advantage. And that's how long they'll have on the 5-on-3 unless they score. Columbus spins, voicing their displeasure at the referee after that penalty call. Petrantonio and Graham draw. Puck laid there for a second, and now Jay collects in the corner. To the point to Columbus. Tried to feed it deep, it was cut off. Here's Rogers the other way, all by himself. Rogers working on Johnson, and the shot gloved by Rodrigue. He plays it quickly. Scantlebury moves up. Waits for Johnson, and now over to DeCumbus. Vinny DeCumbus steps, gives to Jay. His shot hit Graham in front. Now Johnson to Scantlebury, took the shot, didn't get all the way there, and McBurney has it in the glove, and he'll hold on. Now Johnson having some words for Bailey McBurney, and Josh Petrantonio takes him to the corner. Johnson gave Petrantonio a shove, and they're separated by linesmen. Prowlers changed the power play unit. Alex Johnson heading to the bench after that little run-in with Bailey McBurney. Wickline and Foley set to draw. It's Wickline, Frageau, and looks like Vanelli, the third. Federley over to Vartiainen, back to Austin Federley, down to Devaney, up to Federley. Feeds Vartiainen. Federley again, wrist shot, that was blocked. Federley reconnects. Devaney steps atop the circle, takes the shot, that was blocked, and goes out of play with 5:35 to go in the second period. 25 seconds left on the penalty to Gill, and 54 seconds left on Storjahan's. Face-off won by the Prowlers. Vartiainen gets it back from Federley. Those two playing catch up top. Now down low, Devaney, backdoor towards Merritt. That went off the boards and out of the zone. Federley trying to come back in with speed, but Merritt was too slow getting out. Prowlers offside with 5:19 to go in the second. 9 seconds left on the 5-on-3, and then it will be 29 seconds of 5-on-4 time for Port Huron. Still in a 5-0 hole. Foley first on it in the corner as the first man advantage expires. Vartiainen gives to Foley, back to Vartiainen, over to Federley, takes the shot, it's blocked. Gill fresh out of the box, trying to chase down that puck. Instead, Devaney gives to Foley down low. To Devaney in the circle, curls away. Now down to Foley. Comes over Vartiainen, the one-time shot. Came back out, almost in front off the boards. Cleared down, and the River Dragons have killed off the man advantage for Port Huron. So the Prowlers power play struggling tonight, as have many aspects of their game. They still trail 5-0. Although that can be deceiving. Shots right now are 29-19 in favor of the Prowlers. Parsons jumps it deep into the zone. LaBelle behind his own cage. Worked up to Petrantonio. Day tapped it past Parsons, but Minnie was there backing him up. Graham and Greco battling for it. Michael Greco able to get forward, and his shot just whistled wide. Comes to Parsons. Gives to Scantleberry on the near side. Jay put it on, steered to the corner by McBurney. Parsons tried to put it on goal. Said Greco kept it from getting all the way there. Kelly dropped it back to LaBelle. Now Underwood into the zone. Comes right back to him, but he gave it away to Freeborn. Here's Scantleberry. Taking off his stick, Petrantonio turning the other way, luffs it high. Minnie knocks it down with the glove. Tried to poke it away from Kelly. River Dragons touch up as Henning feeds the stretch pass to Merritt off his stick, and Rogers the other way. Took a hit from Minnie. Comes to Kelly. Oh, excuse me, that's Kelly. Got it from King. Deflected on, and saved by Rodrigue. Rogers. Now to the point, here's Kelly. Wrist shot, blocked by Merritt, chasing after the loose puck. And Sam Merritt waits for help. Turned it over, here's Storjahan. King, hit by Henning. Storjahan in front. That one missed Kelly. Had Kelly driving to the front of the net, couldn't connect. Minnie, up to the point, wrist shot. That looked like it hit his stick and went to the corner. Storjahan backhands it in. 2 minutes to go in the second period. A scoreless second period. As icing waved off there, Freeborn got a touch on it. Johnson fed it to Foley in the slot. Puck was in his skates. Now to Devaney off the bench. And that shot hit his stick and goes out of play. 1:47 to go in the second period. Prowlers still in a 5-0 hole. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
.147 to go in the second period. A much better one on the scoreboard for the Port Huron Prowlers, although the play hasn't been that much different. It was a couple of tough bounces that gave Columbus a 3-0 lead that ballooned to 5-0. And that's where we sit now. Prowlers trying to make a comeback, but they're running out of time to start it here in the second. Face off one to Frageau. Drops to Vanelli. Turned over. Foley trying to find Vartiainen. It's turned away. Puck was behind Krupp. He lifts Johnson's stick. Vartiainen collects it and moves up ice. Larry, pump fake, and his second shot hit his stick and went to the glass. Johnson feeds it in front. Devaney had it poked off his stick. Krupp took a big hit from Alex Johnson. Now Vanelli in there. Johnson pulls away the puck. Frageau rims it up. Hainsel there at the point to keep it in. Back to Frageau, back to Hainsel again, and Foley saw it go off him towards the front of the net. Comes around, here's Hainsel. Tried to duck through Petrantonio's hit, but Josh Petrantonio able to take him down. 35 seconds to go in the second period. Graham being hassled. Puck almost taken off his stick by Jelenskis, but Matt Graham able to work it up the boards. Dragons keep it in. Comes to Rodrigue. He plays it off to Hainsel. Adam Hainsel moving up ice slowly with 15. He just put it into the zone. River Dragons get it out. Petrantonio looking to be first on this puck. Instead, it's Danik Rodrigue. Final 5 seconds left in the period. Rodrigue gets the glass, gets it out, and that will do it for the second period of play here at the Columbus Civic Center, with the Port Huron Prowlers still trailing the Columbus River Dragons by a score of 5-0, although a much, much better period for Port Huron as far as the scoreboard goes. It's no goals scored in that middle frame for either side. And we head to the locker rooms. Still a 5-all game here at the Columbus Civic Center. Shots on goal for between the two periods. Prowlers with the lead, 29-20 over the River Dragons. And in that second period, Danik Rodrigue made every save he had to, but so did Bailey McBurney. So the Prowlers no closer through 40 minutes than they were through 20. As we hit the second intermission here at the Columbus Civic Center, with both teams stepping off of the ice. And they'll head to the dressing room to figure out strategies for the third period. To secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they take on the Binghamton Black Bears on Friday, November 25th, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by calling the box office at 810-985-6166. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by phone at 810-985-6166. Second intermission underway here in Columbus. Prowlers trail by 5. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Back here in Columbus, Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thanks for joining me on this Friday night. Prowlers trailing 5-0 before we get into that second period. Let's take you around the FPHL tonight with 3 other games going on. And once again, the game scheduled between the Elmira Mammoth and Watertown Wolves has been postponed due to inclement weather. Tons of snow expected in upstate New York. It's already started coming down in upstate New York tonight. So that game is postponed, but 3 others still on the docket. In Delaware, the Binghamton Black Bears hold a 2-1 lead over the Thunder early in the third period. The Danbury Hat Tricks and Motor City Rockers are tied at 1 goal apiece as we get set for the third period of play. And the Carolina Thunderbirds score 7 in the second period. They've opened up an 8-2 lead at home against the Mississippi Seawolves. That game about to get set to go in the third period. But here, Prowlers trailing the River Dragons 5-0. It was a scoreless second period for both teams. Prowlers outshot Columbus 14-8 in that frame. Danik Rodriguez came in to start that second period. Wyatt Hofflin played the first period, made 7 saves on 12 shots. But Rodriguez came in, made 8 saves in that second period on 8 shots against. Prowlers unable to solve Bailey McBurney, however, on the other end. 14 saves for him in that second period, 29 overall as the Prowlers lead the shot department 29-20 through 2 periods of play here in Columbus. And it's been a tough game for the Port Huron Prowlers. Not necessarily a game where they've played poorly. They just haven't gotten the good results that they want. They've had times when they've been carrying the play. It's been certainly an even game as far as, again, the play is concerned, but it's just that the River Dragons have been able to take advantage of their opportunities, taking advantage of some bad bounces early. As this second intermission will go a few minutes longer than my clock indicates. They've stopped the clock here at 2 minutes. As the Zamboni is still out on the ice. So we'll let you know when they get set for the third period here in Columbus. But for right now, we'll be right back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Still finishing up the ice here at the Columbus Civic Center in Columbus, Georgia. After a long chuck-a-puck during intermission. Both teams set in their tunnels all ready to go. And the Zamboni just not letting them get that third period started. Still one more line to go, straight down center ice. As the delays continue. In the third period that the Prowlers need a big offensive showing if they're even going to salvage overtime out of this game. And again, as I've mentioned, this hasn't been a bad game for the Port Huron Prowlers. They haven't had necessarily a bad game. They haven't really been outplayed. It was a case of some bad bounces in the first couple of minutes, and all of a sudden it's 3-0 on 3 goals that you get those bounces probably once or twice in a season, and all three of those bounces came here today. So unfortunately for the Prowlers, that put them in a hole, and things just snowballed from there. It was a 5-0 game before the first period ended, but Prowlers held it at 5-0 through that second frame, and that's where we sit heading into the third. Clock started back up here in Columbus, minute 35 on it, as both teams are set to come back out. While we're waiting, we will invite you to tune in to our next broadcast tomorrow, November 19th, when the Prowlers visit these Columbus River Dragons again. Puck drop scheduled for 7:30. The pregame show starts at 7:15. And it's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Both teams head back out to the ice as we're finally just about set to get underway in this third period. Bailey McBurney set in the goal to our left. River Dragons in their red jerseys tonight. They have at least 4 uniform sets to speak of. We'll see which ones they go with tomorrow night. The other dark jerseys include black alternate and a teal alternate jersey. Prowlers in their standard home white uniforms. Final seconds ticking off the clock here in this second intermission. Both teams set to go at center ice. 20 minutes about to be put up there, and a little bit of line juggling, it looks like, for the Prowlers. They'll open this third period with Dan Chartrand on left wing, making his first appearance of the game. He's the extra forward tonight. Evan Foley at center and Dalton Jay on the right wing. We're underway in the third period. Jay works it to Parsons, D to Federley, and Dalton Jay deflects it in. Vanelli off the boards all the way down. It's going to be an early icing against Columbus. Just 18 seconds into period 3. Next line out for Port Huron. It's Merritt, Devaney, and Tucker Scantleberry as the line juggling continues for the Prowlers. Matt Graham putting his forwards in a blender here. Parsons and Federley, the D pair, still out there. As face-off won by Columbus. Only gets as far as Parsons. He pinched in to keep it deep. Puck came back out to center. Parsons tried to chop it forward. Scantleberry turns the corner at his own blue line. Moves up ice. Tucker Scantleberry fanned on the shot. Federley backed him up. And McBurney made that save. Sounded like it might have hit him in the mask. Merritt curls, puts it in front. Scantleberry looking for it. Instead, Vanelli, the only one that could find it. River Dragons had numbers moving up ice, but someone changed. Krupa shot, saved by Rodrigue, and he'll hold on with 19:06 to go in the third period. And let's see what the other line for the Prowlers it will be. Oh no, they send back out the Foley line. You had Foley, Chartrand, and Jays. Matt Graham looking to get an offensive spark from his team. Foley will take the face-off with Underwood. Comes to Day at the circle. Wrist shot on net, goes wide. Johnson picks it up off the hop off the back boards. Underwood to the point, Rogers steps, shoots, Goes back across it, and Rodriga diving save to rob Petrantonio of a chance. Those lively backboards acting up again. Jay, now Chartrand gets it deep. Dalton Jay taken in without the puck. Penalty coming up against Columbus. Now Foley, the Chartrand, tried to feed it back towards Jay in front. And the River Dragons touch up. And we'll get another Port Huron power play interference to call on Josh Petrantonio with 18:31 to go in the third period. Excuse me, they're taking Edgars Ozelinch, the one who threw that hit on Dalton Jay after he passed the puck off to Dan Chartrand. Well, they keep this power play unit the same. The Graham unit with Scantlebury, Jay, Johnson, and DeCumbus. The Prowlers win the faceoff. Here's DeCumbus. Over to Johnson. Now Jay winds, fires. It's blocked. Comes to Johnson at the point. Now Jay. Johnson goes near side DeCumbus. Graham tried to one-touch it in front. That hit a skate. And the River Dragons clear. Johnson starts up, gives to Graham. Now to DeCumbus, moving up the left wing side. To the point, Johnson. Over to Jay, wrist shot, and that one missed wide. Scantlebury couldn't handle that one, and it's cleared by Greco. 1:10 to go in the Prowlers power play, 17:38 on the clock in the third period. Larry Vartiainen up to Devaney as the Prowlers have the other unit out on the ice. Poked away from Vartiainen. Now here's Devaney. Stops up in the corner. Now to Vartiainen. Now here's Federley. Austin Federley took a check from Vanelli, got the puck deep. Frageau only got it as far as Devaney, and here's Federley. Over to Devaney, takes the shot, save, rebound. Devaney crashing for it, had his stick broken, and the River Dragons clear the puck down. 16 seconds left on the man advantage. Poked back into Port Huron territory, and that should take care of another Prowlers power play. Vartiainen stepping up behind his own cage. Sauce up towards DeCumbus. Jay picks up that loose puck with speed. Dalton Jay steps around his man, and a shot stopped by McBurney. Petrantonio taken in by Scantlebury behind the net. Here's Scantlebury, finds the loose puck, turns, shoots, and into the glove of Bailey McBurney, and he'll hold on with 16:09 to go in the period. Shots on goal, 33-22 in favor of the Prowlers. They still trail it 5-0 after 5 first period goals from the Columbus River Dragons. And Prowlers have 6 on the ice. Now Scantlebury heading off. Foley will stay out there, will come out. DeCumbus and Jay staying out. Underwood wins the face-off back. Puck comes to the near half wall. Ozelinch plays it back. Foley disrupting behind the net. Turned over, here's Jay, a shot, he scores! Dalton Jay breaks the shutout streak for Bailey McBurney, and the Prowlers are on the board. It's a 5-1 game. It all started off the good forecheck from Evan Foley to work that puck in front. The steal, and the Prowlers able to get on the board, and that will at least instill a little bit of confidence in this Prowlers offense as Dalton Jay picks up his 5th of the season. Dragons trying to move up ice. Storjahan, his pass goes through King. King and Minnie come together in the corner. Gino works it up the wall towards Jay. Shot on, hit Minnie. He and King again battling for the puck. And now referee's arm is up. He's got Gino Minnie, and Minnie will head to the box. And the first chance to look at the Dragons' power play will come here in the third period. A holding penalty coming against Gino Minnie. Prowlers' penalty kill will head to work for the first time tonight, sitting 5th in the FPHL at 78.9%, while the Dragons' 4th-ranked power play will get its first chance, 23.3% on the season. Storjahan wins it back. LaBelle back to Storjahan. Here's LaBelle at the top. To King on the right wing side. LaBelle. Storjahan. Greco in front. Kelly in the bumper position. Comes all the way to King. Whistles blow again. Another penalty coming up. This time it's against Storjahan. He dumped Johnson on the half wall. And Alex Johnson with some words for King. And the Columbus faithful giving it to the referees here. So 19 seconds into Gino Minnie's penalty. We'll play four-side hockey with 15:05 to go in the third period. Graham, Freeborn, Johnson, and Henning, the four out there for the Prowlers. It's Wickline taking the draw. He's out there with Jelenskis. Greco, the man with the puck now. And he fed it over to the 4th River Dragon on the ice. That's LaBelle. Puck too far ahead of Graham. Icing waved off. Greco reverses towards LaBelle. Now Jelenskis. Pass was behind Wickline. Johnson just put it forward. Henning dumped by Greco after he tried to move that puck up ice. Here's LaBelle into the zone, looking for the pass across, and he couldn't connect with Jelenskis. Henning up towards Freeborn. He deflects it in, and the Prowlers make a full change. LaBelle behind his own net. 14:05 to go in the third period. Here's Day dancing through a couple of Prowlers. Couldn't bring the puck with him. Comes out in front, a shot. Rises over top of the net, off the stick of Frageau. Rodrigue off the glass himself, only gets to Frageau at the point. 13:43 to go in the period. Frageau feeds it into the slot. That shot off a stick and out of play. With 13:37 to go in the third period, 33 seconds to go on the penalty to Storjahan, and 13 seconds left for Gino Minnie. And we'll take a timeout here with 13:37 to go in the third period, and the Prowlers trailing by 4. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
.37 to go in the third period of a 4-goal game between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Columbus River Dragons. These two teams will meet again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Prowlers hoping to get a little bit more puck luck. 3 goals off of some pretty tough bounces got the Dragons going early, and it just snowballed from there, but Columbus hasn't scored since that first period. Scantlebury to Federley. Minnie set to come out, abbreviated Prowlers power play, just 16 seconds on it. The puck comes back to Minnie at the Prowlers blue line. Gino Minnie turns it up. Scantlebury played it in his feet, turned it over to Petrantonio, chasing after the loose puck in the corner. Petrantonio surrounded by Prowlers. Evan Foley takes the puck. And now Scantlebury around the net, moves up ice. Tucker Scantlebury kicked it up further into the corner. Henning kept it in at the point. First on it, the River Dragons. Able to get it back out to center. That was Petrantonio. One touch to Scantlebury. The Prowlers try and come back in, but Petrantonio knocked him down. And now Storjahan up ice. Has a man going to the net. It's Kelly, but good play by Alex Johnson to get down and stifle that chance. And another penalty coming to Columbus with 12:20 to go. And now a wrestling match on the near side. King took down a Prowler. That's Johnson. And Michael King heading straight to the box. Alex Johnson still slow to his feet, but he waves bye-bye to Michael King. And it looks like the original penalty was actually going to be against the Prowlers, as Dustin Henning is in the penalty box. We'll see what the calls end up being here. The play was halted on a delayed call originally, and then after that, you had the wrestling match between King and Johnson, and Michael King just took down Alex Johnson just inside the Prowlers' blue line. With Lane King, Lane King second in the FPHL in assists last year with Watertown, 61 helpers. He won the Commissioner's Cup there with the Wolves, and now in his first season in Columbus. Penalties up on the board, 2 minutes apiece for King and Henning. Graham still having a discussion with one of the referees. Johnson is still helmetless, and now he heads back to his bench. Now both referees in to have a chat with Matt Graham. That's all the explanation he's going to get. They're discussing in front of the scorer's table. Right now, it looks like it would be 4-on-4 for a full 2 minutes. We'll see if anything changes. Still 12:20 to go in the third period. Prowlers have the only goal of the last 40 minutes of this game. Or at least the last 20 minutes plus the 7:40 that's been played in this third period. Columbus hasn't scored since the final second of the first period. Looks to be four-side hockey with 2 minutes up on the board again for King and Henning. We'll let you know the penalty calls when we have them. It's going to be Lane King for roughing, Dustin Henning for hooking, and the face-off will be just outside of the Prowlers zone. Back underway. Minnie on the 4-on-4 over to Hainsel. Adam Hainsel up the boards, takes a shot from Rogers. Those two having words as the play goes up ice. Meanwhile, Jay tried to cut to the slot. Here's Minnie with some space, dekes to the middle, and a save by McBurney. Graham was knocked down as he was heading towards the net. Now he takes the saucer pass from Minnie. Jay had a little trouble controlling that one, and Kelly recovers in his own end. Rogers moved up to Storjahan. He dumps it in, and Rodrigue covers up with 11:35 to go in the third. Alex Storjahan with a goal tonight, team leading 7th of the season. Face-off about to get underway to Rodrigue's left. Underwood and Foley set to draw. Minute 15 to go on the minor penalties. Greco looks, shoots, hit Foley on the way by. Federley takes his man Gill into the boards. Parsons tried to return to Devaney. Said it was turned over, but the pass in front was behind Gill. Chucked into the River Dragons zone. Devaney on the forecheck. Underwood coming back, takes the puck, and reverses to Greco exactly 9 minutes into the third period. Here's Greco to Underwood. All the way across, but River Dragons had to slow up for that puck. In and out of the glove of Rodrigue was that shot. Now Devaney starts up with Foley. Foley one-hands it further. Here comes Evan Foley, cuts to the backhand. And that one didn't get all the way on goal. River Dragons move up with numbers. Here's Greco. Tried to feed it across. Good play by Parsons. And Brian Parsons lays a hit on Michael Greco. Foley, up to Scantlebury. Getting in, here's Tucker Scantlebury, but couldn't knock down that bouncing puck, and then he takes a hit from Vanelli, who takes the puck. King, fresh out of the box, deals it over to the far side as we approach the halfway point of this third period. Minnie moves up to Freeborn. Freeborn stops up in the zone. Tried to force it deeper. Now Vanelli off the boards. Krupp finds an outlet in Wickline. He drops it off, but the River Dragons are offside at the Prowlers line. Still a 5-1 game here in Columbus. 9:40 to go in the third period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron.
Back here in Columbus, 9:40 to go in the third period here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thanks for joining us tonight. Prowlers with some work to do still, a 5-1 deficit after a 5-0 deficit after one period of play. They've gotten one back, but time is running short here in Columbus. Foley and Wickline set to draw just outside of the Prowlers zone. And a face-off won by Wickline. Here comes Vanelli. He backhands it as far as Johnson into the zone. Alex Johnson plays it up the boards towards Decumbus. Krupp cut it off. Tried to feed the slot. And Jay Krupp keeps it deep. Wickline turns on Henning. Johnson came in to assist. Battle in the corner. And Dalton Jay takes that puck. Vinny Decumbus up with speed. Tried the shot, fanned on it. Jay played it into Croup skates, gets it back, and that one deflected off a River Dragon, and McBurney had the pad down. Dalton Jay almost got a nice pinball bounce. That shot goes off the backboards. Johnson makes a nice move. Jay and Ozelinch chase it down. Ozelinch gets there first. Merritt takes the pass up the boards. Worked around this side. Here's Petrantonio. All the way up. Day couldn't control it. He would have had a breakaway if he did, and his opposite number, Tucker Scantlebury, takes him into the glass. Federley backhands it out to center. Now Rogers drops it back. Sent up to Day. Battle at the red line here in front of the penalty boxes. Scantlebury pushes it as far as Rogers. And now Rogers, with 8 minutes to go in the third, stymied at the line by Parsons, and Scantlebury backhands it in. Comes to Petrantonio. And now Rogers. Dragons move up ice, dropped back to Rogers, takes the shot. It was blocked, and Scantlebury goes off the glass all the way back down, and this will be an icing against Port Huron. .7:35 to go in the third period. Prowlers still up on shots. 36-24 for the game, 7-4 for the period, but trailing in the goal department, 5-1. Comes to Scantlebury. There's a River Dragon down in the Prowlers' end. Scantlebury's stick breaks as he tried to take that shot. That's King, the River Dragon, getting to the bench slowly. Meanwhile, Kelly took a hit from Graham. Now Hainzel. Up ice towards Debony. Stolen by Storjahan. In front, Kelly. Larceny by Danik Rodriguez, getting a piece of that shot. McBurney plays it away from an oncoming Graham. LaBelle had it go through him. Vartiainen saw the puck come down in front of him, and now Storjahan the other way. Dropped off, Kelly the shot. That was blocked. Puck loose in the crease. Minnie clears it away. Gino Minnie starts to rush up ice. Cuts to the slot, takes the shot, but we have a fight. It's Graham and Storjahan in front of the River Dragons bench. Going on behind the play, Graham gets a right in. Graham with some uppercuts, now over the top, and he gets Storjahan in a headlock and drags him down. Matt Graham in game number 300 of his FPHL career, not shy about dropping the mitts, and he'll head to the penalty box for 5 minutes, as will Alex Storjahan. Now a little bit more discussion and pushing and shoving going on in front of the benches. Well, that looked like it started down by the Prowlers' net. As Gino Minnie took the puck up ice, Storjahan and Graham were having words, exchanging a couple of slashes, and then they eventually decided to drop the mitts at center. And Matt Graham trying to inject some life into his team, trailing by 4 goals. 6:36 to go in the third period. Apologies about the clock, folks. I'm trying to do a little math here. My clock here is in seconds, so I have to do a little bit of math to figure it out. Clock something new we are trying tonight on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. We'll see how long it sticks around. see how long the Prowlers can stick around in the offensive zone with the face-off coming back to Henning. Quick shot was blocked, and then he drops his man. And now another fight coming as Frejot challenging Henning, and Frejot feeding Henning right hands over the top underneath. Henning coming back with his jersey over his head. Frejot with a couple of more uppercuts. Dustin Henning can't get that right arm free, then they both go down to the ice. So 2 fights in the span of a couple seconds, and this second one comes immediately after Dustin Henning absolutely leveled one of the River Dragons going up the boards. I believe that was Ryan Gill. And Frejot immediately with the gloves off to challenge Henning. Boy, this one getting feisty in Columbus with 6:30 to go in the third period. These two teams will meet again tomorrow, same time for puck drop, 7:30 here at Columbus Civic Center. Be sure to tune in to our broadcast for that. We'll have the pregame show started at about 7:15. We'll see where this face-off ends up, as both teams over by their benches right now just recollecting, and now we will have the face-off. It looks like they're setting up 4-on-4. Now a fifth Prowler comes out. And now 2 minutes up on the board for Frejot. An instigating minor to Frejot. And now Merritt steals, he scores! Sam Merritt with the steal at the side of the net. Bailey McBurney slams his stick on the post and breaks it. It's a power play goal for the Prowlers, and it's a 5-2 game. Just trying to get the call on the Frejot penalty, and all of a sudden it looked like the River Dragons were going to clear, and Sam Merritt said not so fast. He pots his second goal in as many games and pulls the Prowlers within 3. .6:23 to go in the third period. Jay wins it into the zone. Taken in by Rogers. And now LaBelle steps out from behind the net. River Dragons with numbers the other way. Federley knocked down that dump attempt with the glove. And now Jay curls back off of Wickline's stick. Now Parsons off the boards and out as far as Rogers at center. Brian Parsons to Federley. Controls the bouncing puck. Now heads up ice, but Wickline took it away. Sends in Jelenskis, but Parsons poked it off his stick. Rogers walks down the wall. It's poked to the point where Wickline is. In and out of Rodrigues' glove, and then flipped back on net. And now Rodrigues will cover up. Parsons and Rogers getting into a little shoving match. And they're separated. 5:22 to go in the third period of a 5-2 game between the Prowlers and the River Dragons. Not exactly the result you would have thought based on how this game has been played. But the River Dragons got some favorable bounces, 3 favorable bounces I would say, in that first period. Things snowballed from there, but the Prowlers have held them scoreless through the second and so far first almost 15 minutes of this third period. As Ozelinch had it hop over his stick. Chartrand trying to tap it back forward. Devaney gets it in and takes a hit. 5 minutes to go in the third period as Greco has it stolen by Scantleberry. Good body by Tucker Scantleberry. Petrantonio trying to escape the zone. Devaney stood up by Greco as he gets it in to the River Dragons' end. Petrantonio off the boards and out. Devaney worked back towards Johnson. Chartrand into the zone, takes the shot, and McBurney doesn't know where the rebound is, and Devaney put it back in front right into Bailey McBurney, and he'll hold on with 4:27 to go in the third period. And Bailey McBurney doubled over in his crease. After that first shot, he didn't react, and we'll see what the deal is when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Columbus, 4:26 to go in the third period, or 4:27, excuse me, to go in the third period. We do invite you again to tune into our next broadcast tomorrow when the Prowlers and the River Dragons renew the rivalry. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. and the pregame show starts at 7:50. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Bailey McBurney heading back to his goal crease, was a bit doubled over heading to the River Dragons bench during that TV timeout. He didn't exactly react to the rebound after Dan Chartrand took a shot, and Joe Devaney tried again from a very sharp angle, and McBurney was able to cover up. And then he was slow to get up after that sequence as the River Dragons iced the puck. Three-goal game here, still possibly within reach for the Prowlers. Crazier things have happened, and they have been playing a good game, even at points outplaying the River Dragons. It just hasn't been their night on the luck side as far as the puck luck goes. Here's Bartiainen, backhand shot, goes over top of the cage. Bartiainen tried to whack that bouncing puck on goal, didn't get very far. Now Johnson blocks Gill from getting further. Freeborn takes the puck at center, gets it in. Funny hop off the corner boards there. Johnson plays it back at center, up to Freeborn. Liam Freeborn dancing in, drops to Johnson. Wrist shot goes wide. Hainsel gets it deep. Freeborn and Vanelli wrestling. Freeborn's stick looked like it got up high on Vanelli. No call as Jelenskis first on the puck in the Prowlers' end. Hassled by Hainsel. Jelenskis' team just finished making a change. Jay stole the puck from him. Here comes Dalton Jay, 2-on-1. Tried to feed it across, that didn't work. And McBurney gets the glove on top of it. He had Vinny Decumbis with him. And Decumbis was all alone on that right wing side coming in, but Dalton Jay unable to get it through the River Dragons defense for what would have been a prime scoring chance for Vinny Decumbis, still looking for his first goal in the FPHL. Deflected back out to center. Here's Parsons. .38 saves for Bailey McBurney in this game as puck goes all the way back down for icing against Columbus. Prowlers are out shooting the River Dragons 40-27. In really any other game This would be one that the Prowlers would at least be close in, if not leading. But we talked about it a lot, those tough bounces in the first couple of minutes, and the game kind of got away from Port Huron, although they have settled down in these last two periods. Wickline knocked it down with the glove. Foley played it back. Now Jay to DeCumbus, in with speed. Vinny DeCumbus lost the handle. Poke this side, here's Hainsel. Down low to Foley, in front towards Jay. His stick was tied up, Parsons the shot, into the glove of Bailey McBurney, and he'll hold on. Prowlers still pressuring, but also still trailing 5-2 in the third period. 2:03 to go. Chartrand centering Scantlebury and Devaney is the line for Matt Graham's club. Graham and Henning both sitting in the penalty box. Scantlebury turnaround shot blocked. Federley plays it to Devaney. His turnaround shot missed wide. Joe Devaney at risk of losing his 5-game goal-scoring streak in under 2 minutes. Here's Petrantonio behind the net. Fed it all the way back to the point. And LaBelle retreats at center. Chartrand to the red line, over to Scantlebury. He gets in, 90 seconds to go in the third period. Tucker Scantlebury held up on the wall. Danik Rodriguez stays put in his goal crease. Minnie backhands it deep. LaBelle over to Petrantonio. Slowly up. He turned it over to Devaney at center. Joe Devaney trying to work his way back in. As we hit the final minute of play in the third period, Petrantonio the other way has Day going to the net, gets it to him. Day, and a big save by Rodriguez. Scantlebury taken down, has a stick in his arm. Delayed call coming up against the River Dragons. Puck skittered towards that empty Prowlers net as Rodriguez at the bench for the delayed penalty. And Scantlebury taken down by Petrantonio, far away from the puck. 2 arms are up. The puck played in front. Merritt trying to backhand her. And River Dragons touch up with 29.3 seconds on the clock. And 2 River Dragons will be going to the box, as 2 separate penalties are being called. All 4 fighters heading back to their benches. Storjahan, Graham, Fregeau, and Henning, although Henning will stick around at the referee circle to find out the calls. Gill and Petrantonio, the 2 in the penalty box for Columbus. 29.3 seconds left in the third period. Johnson and King still having words. Remember, Lane King took down Alex Johnson during a stoppage in play. He got a penalty for that. Rodriguez heading back to his bench, to the Prowlers bench. It will be a 6-on-3 for Port Huron as Freeborn steps out to join the Foley unit on the power play. Wickline and Merritt set to draw to McBurney's right. Off the glass only as far as Federley. He works to Devaney. Down to Foley, in front, Freeborn, saved by McBurney. Freeborn gets there ahead of Fregeau. Comes over Federley, one-timer by Vartiainen. Glove save by McBurney, and he'll hold on with exactly 9 seconds to go in the third period. So the Prowlers will see their 2-game win streak come to a close. while the River Dragons will extend theirs to an FPHL high 6. That's the longest active streak in the league right now. Face-off won by the Prowlers, but too far. Goes all the way back down. Federley moves up ice with 2. And the Columbus River Dragons defeat the Port Huron Prowlers by a score of 5-2. Getting 5 goals in the first period and riding it out the rest of the way. And the Prowlers see their win streak come to an end. But Danik Rodrigue was perfect through 40 minutes of play. He came in relief of Wyatt Hofflin at the start of the second period. He made all 16 saves that he needed to, while Bailey McBurney was a big piece for this River Dragons team, making sure that the Prowlers didn't get close, because there were a lot of times in this game where Port Huron was outplaying Columbus. Prowlers ended up with 43 shots, and McBurney 41 saves on the evening, and he picks up the win, his 5th of the season. Before we get too deep into the post-game show, one more time we want to remind you about our next broadcast tomorrow as these two teams face each other once again. Puck drop scheduled for 7:30, and the pregame show at 7:15 right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Take one last look around the FPHL. Only 3 other games tonight, as Elmira and Watertown's matchup in Watertown was postponed due to the heavy beating of snow that upstate New York is getting tonight. But in Delaware, it was the Binghamton Black Bears coming away with a 3-1 win. They play in overtime in Fraser, Michigan. Actually, that game just ending as I speak. Johnny Ruiz, a power play goal, and the Danbury Hat Tricks take it in the extra session over the Motor City Rockers. And finally, the Carolina Thunderbirds smacked around the Mississippi Seawolves in Carolina, final from Winston-Salem, 11-2. And here, 5-2, your final. Well, early on in this game, it was a few bad bounces that just went the River Dragons' way. Paul Frageau, Edgars Ozelich, and Josh Petrantonio took advantage of confusion in the Prowlers' end off those strange hops off of Wyatt Hofflin. They made it 3-0 in quick order. Kelly Jacob also with a rebound opportunity that he put home. That extended the lead to 4-0. And then Alex Storjahan with a back-breaking goal with 1 second left in the first just beat Wyatt Hofflin clean on the rush from the top of the circle. That made it 5-0 through 1 period of play. But the Port Huron Prowlers would hold the River Dragons scoreless the rest of the way. Dalton Jay and Sam Merritt got goals in the third period to pull their team within 3, but that's as close as they would get. Final score here from Columbus, 5-2. That's going to do it for me here from the Columbus Civic Center. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you tomorrow night. This is Will Wiggleman on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page.